Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sally and this is my channel Secret Life for Seamstress, where I love to talk all about sewing, a handmade wardrobe and often other crafts I like to enjoy as well. Thank you for joining me today and I hope you're all doing really well. Today's video is going to be a sewing plans and fabric haul video. So I'm going to be talking all about my sewing plans for summer and also sharing some beautiful fabrics that I've acquired recently to bring those plans to life. A portion of today's video has been sponsored by Mr. Tissue and I'm looking forward to talking a little bit more about them a bit later in the video. So since we are pretty much at the end of June now, I probably just need to mention that I am quite late to the party with my sewing plans for summer video this year. And the only reason I can really give for that is that I have been completely overwhelmed with the amount of things that I actually could sew for this summer. I think what's out on the high street at the moment for me has been so inspiring, and it's taken me a while to actually narrow down everything that I do want to sew. As I've been talking about in recent videos, I am trying to be a little bit more intentional with my sewing, trying not to sew too many things just for the sake of it, and trying to make sure that what I am sewing really fits in well with my wardrobe and that I know I'm going to get sort of really good use and really good wear out of what I do sew. Having said that, I do have a couple of holidays coming up in the beginning of August, and I would very much like to have at least 2 or 3 of these things ready to go for those holidays. So I can see some speedy sewing coming up in the future and possibly some long sewing evenings ahead. I wish I could be one of those really organised people that sews for the next season while they're in the current season, but I think for me, I very much get my inspiration from what I see coming out on the high street and on Pinterest and things like that when we're in the season, and then I get my ideas of what to sew. I know not everyone is like that, but that just seems to be how I work, and that's okay. I think we all have our different ways of working, don't we? Anyway, I'm waffling now, so shall we get into the sewing plans and the fabrics I have to share with you? So my first little haul actually comes from a new to me independent fabric company called Mr. Tissue. Mr. Tissue are actually based in Belgium and they have over 20 years experience in the fabric industry. Mr. Tissue focus exclusively on high quality garment fabrics, including dead stock, surplus and exclusive designer prints, sourced from European fashion houses and manufacturers mainly in France and Italy. They actually also ship pretty much internationally to the UK, US, Germany, Canada and many more countries too. So Mr. Tissue kindly reached out to me recently and asked if I would like to try a selection of their fabrics to support my sewing plans for the summer season. And after an extensive scour of their website and a lot of difficulty choosing, I decided on a few fabrics. As always, I will leave a link to all of the fabrics that I talk about in today's video in the description below. But for the Mr. Tissue fabrics, I actually have a discount code. So if you use my code SALLY15, you will get 15% off of any orders above £59 or $75. This code is valid for 2 weeks from when this video goes live, and you will just need to manually enter the code at the checkout. So I just want to mention as well that the customer service that I've received from Mr. Tissue has honestly been second to none. They are such a friendly, lovely company. They were super helpful. The delivery was actually super speedy. It came within 2 to 3 days once it was sort of ordered and the order had gone through and everything, so that was really lovely too. So anyway, with all that said, I'm sure you're waiting with bated breath to see what these fabrics are that I've received, so let's actually get into it now, shall we? So the first fabric I have to share is this beautifully light cotton voile fabric. I have 2 meters of this and this is £12 a meter, and I have to say the quality of this is really, really beautiful. It's so soft and slinky, and it has, if I put it up to the camera, can you see that it has these little gold flecks in it as well, which I think are really pretty, and if you're wearing this in the sunshine then those gold flecks are really going to catch the light and be really sparkly. I love the colours in this. I love this peachy tone, and it's also got my favourite sort of greens and browns and off-whites in there as well, which I absolutely love. So this fabric is actually perfectly suited for something that I've had in mind that I've wanted to make for quite some time, and that is a robe style top. So a kind of day robe kind of thing, I guess. If you know, you know, and I will put in some inspiration images for all of the makes I'm talking about as we go. But what I want really is just something that I can just throw on over a pair of denim shorts and a vest, or even a swimsuit on beach. So there's no real fastenings to them. They're kind of like an open shirt, very oversized with big floaty sleeves as well. So a couple of pattern ideas that I could use to make this style top are, first of all, the Sylvia robe by Sew Over It. I think this is a really great robe style top pattern, so if you don't already have anything like this in your stash, then this could work really nicely. But for me, I actually have the Hayley robe pattern by Tammy Handmade, which I've used a couple of times to make a dressing gown, or a robe, or an evening kind of robe that you'd put on over pyjamas or in the morning when you're getting up. But I actually think this pattern would work in the same way for a day robe style top or caftan top like this. So I'm actually just going to use this pattern. I'm going to take off the belt loops and not include the belt, and I'm just probably going to crop it slightly. I'd quite like it to come down to, say, the bottom of a pair of shorts, so kind of mid-length, I guess, maybe just past my hips. So yeah, I'm really excited to get that top sewn up, and realistically it shouldn't take very long to sew that up, because I know from experience that the Hayley robe is a super quick sew, and especially if I'm not including a belt or belt loops, it should be very quick and easy. So that's my first lovely fabric. So pretty, isn't it? I love this. And I don't think I've ever actually sewn with a cotton foil before, so that's going to be different as well. My next fabric is this beautiful printed Eco Vero, I hope I'm saying that right, viscose. This one is called Honey Flowers, and it's £13 a metre. I just loved the colour of this again. So lemon yellow was one of the colours that came up on my colour chart when I had my colour analysis done, but it's not a colour that I actually have a lot of in my wardrobe, so I thought it would be really nice to kind of bring some in. And I also really like the colours in the flowers as well, without having my glasses on. I think the colours in this are pink, and I would actually say that the leaves are navy. I don't think they're green, and I don't think they're black, so I think they're actually navy, which is really nice because I do prefer navy to black. You know, I just love a ditzy floral, and I haven't really sewn many ditzy floral garments this year, so I think I'm probably due one. Again, this is just so soft and such beautiful quality. And I was actually pretty inspired by the inspiration image that they actually have on the Mr. Tissue website for this one. They have it sewn into the most beautiful dress, and that image was actually what sold me on choosing this fabric, so I thought it just looked so pretty. One thing I do like about the website, actually, the Mr. Tissue website, is that for most of their fabrics they also include an image to show you what you can make with it, and I thought that was actually really helpful, because sometimes you don't always know how a fabric is going to sew up just by looking at it on your computer. So yeah, that was really helpful. So for this one, this is going to be a dress of some kind, and two patterns that I have in mind are two that I already own and have sewed quite recently, and they are the Pippa dress by Sew Over It, which I've only ever made one of, but I think this is probably one of my favourite and most worn dresses, so I definitely need another one in my wardrobe. So that is a high contender, and I also really love and have been wearing quite a lot in summertime my 1940s tea dress by Sew Over It. So I actually made this in autumn time with the intention of it being like an autumn dress that I would wear with boots and things, but I didn't really get it out much in autumn, and I've actually been pulling it out more this summertime, and I've been wearing it quite a lot while we've been having some hot weather with sandals, and I feel like it actually suits me more in that way than it did in the autumn time, and I really love the style of that dress. So I just changed this pattern slightly to lengthen it so it wasn't quite as mini as it is on the Sew Over It pattern, but yeah, I really love the style of that one as well, and I think this fabric would actually suit either of those dresses, but I think I'm probably more swayed to the Pippa at the moment. Let me know what you think. Which one of those would you sew? So one thing you do have to watch with the Pippa actually is that it takes a surprising amount of fabric. You wouldn't think it by looking at the style of the dress, but it actually is cut quite on the bias so that it hangs really nicely. So you do need a really wide fabric, and you also need quite a lot of fabric as well. This fabric I think is virgin on 150 centimetres, so it should be wide enough. I'm just going to have to make sure that if I do go down that route I can fit all my pattern pieces into this fabric. Do you know, I'm hating unfolding all of these fabrics actually. I love to see fabrics all nicely neatly folded. It kind of hurts me inside to unfold them all and have them all rocked up, but I do need to pre-wash these, so they probably need to go in the wash after this video actually, so it doesn't matter really. I just love to see them folded. Next is this absolutely beautiful lightweight cotton fabric with a camel coloured stripe to it. This one I have 2.5 metres of, and this was £12 a metre, which I think is such a good value. Sometimes you don't know the kind of quality that you're going to get from a website when the fabrics are so reasonable and affordable, but I have to say with all of these fabrics they really are very good quality, and I hope you know that I wouldn't be saying that if I didn't really think it. So even though this is a cotton, it's got a really lovely drape to it. It's very light, it almost feels like a voile or a lawn. So with this one I'm pretty set on what I want to make with this, and that is another cord set of some kind. You know, I'm pretty obsessed with a cord set at the moment. I seem to be making them quite a lot and I don't think I'm quite done with them. But for this one, I would really like to make a pair of shorts and then a matching shirt to go over the top. And I think those kind of matching cord sets, they're really handy for holidays and things, because obviously you can wear the shorts on their own, or you can wear the shirts on its own as a cover up, or you can wear them together as a lovely matching set. And I just find them so handy basically. So the patterns I'm going to use for my cord set at the moment, I think I'm going to use the Logan Shacket pattern by Style Arc. As you know, that's one of my favourite shirt patterns, and I love how oversized it is, and I think for a cord set of this kind where you're going to be wearing the shirt as an overshirt, it's a really good style of shirt to sew, and I know that it's pretty quick and easy. I've made it so many times I can whip it up quite quickly, so that's always a good thing. And then for the shorts, I think I'm either going to use the Tyra trousers pattern, because I'd quite like these shorts to have pockets, and I would also like a drawstring as well. But I could also use the Sapphire pants pattern, which I've recently used to make a pair of shorts, and I know that that worked really nicely as well. Definitely want a drawstring and definitely would like to add pockets. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is whether I have enough fabric for this plans with 2.5 metres. It is a very wide fabric, so I think I should be all right. Fingers crossed for me. As I'm holding it up like this, you can probably tell that it's really quite see-through, so that won't matter for my shirt, but for the shorts I'm definitely going to have to line them, and I think I've actually found my perfect lining fabric from Fabric Godmother, which I'll be sharing a bit later in the video as well, so I'll be using some of that probably to line my shorts. I'm going to just swap these two around a little bit and do this one next. So the next thing I have to share with you is this viscose lyocell twill fabric. And again, I'm just kind of blown away really with the quality of this. This does have, it's a viscose twill, but it has lyocell in it. So it's got that kind of soft, slinky texture of tencel and lyocell. It's really weighty, and you can see that it's got that lovely drape to it. So I've actually been on the lookout for the perfect brown fabric for quite some time, either in a viscose twill like this or like a viscose linen or something like that. But I've been very particular about the colour of brown that I want. And I have to say that Mr. Tissue did actually come up trumps with this one, because I did want a camely toned brown rather than a real sort of deep chocolate brown. And I've been having no luck finding that colour anywhere, but this one is actually perfect. And I think this camely colour suits my skin tone a little bit better than the deep browns do. So I absolutely love the colour of this, and I can't wait to get sewing with it. So what I want to sew with this one is actually the Quinn dress by True Bias, because I've been super inspired by a lot of the waistcoat style dresses that have been around on the high street recently. I saw this lovely dress from H&M, which I'll pop in here, and yeah, I just really like the look of it. And there are loads of other similar dresses around on the high street, and I think they look really nice just worn casually with like chunky sandals and a nice beach bag. I'm not normally one to go for a mini dress actually, but I think if you've got a nice hot holiday and you know the weather's going to be good and you are around the beach and things, then sometimes there is call for a mini dress, and I will go with it. But yeah, I love the look of the Quinn pattern. I loved it as soon as it came out, but I've been putting off buying it because I just wasn't quite sure about what fabric to use and everything. But as I say, the more sort of versions that I saw coming out on the high street, I was really inspired just to give a brown version a go. And True Bias actually have a lovely brown version on their pattern images as well, and I thought this looked really lovely. Even though brown isn't your typical summer colour, it's definitely around at the moment. It's definitely one of the summer colours that I keep seeing everywhere. And I have to say, I'm quite liking it actually. I do think it looks quite nice for summer. So that's my plans for this lovely fabric. It's so lovely and so weighty, and I think it's going to work really nicely for that kind of dress because it's not too stiff, but it does have enough weight in it to sort of hold that waistcoat shape. The Quinn pattern is really good as well, obviously, because you do get quite a few different options with the pattern. So you can sew a waistcoat, or you can also sew like the full length version of the dress as well. So I think it is quite a good pattern to invest in if, like me, you're always a little bit wary about buying too many sewing patterns and you'd rather use something that you already own. I think I'm quite happy actually to invest in this one because it's very different to anything I already have in my pattern collection, and you do get quite a lot for your money with this one. Okay, so let's move on to my final Mr. Tissue fabric, and it is another beauty. So this is my wild card actually, because I really don't know quite what to make with this one yet, but I was really drawn again to the colours in this one. Again, it's got those lovely brown tones in it, and also a bit of navy and a bit of royal blue, I guess, in it too. And I love brown and blue together. I just think it works so nicely. So again, this is a lovely soft floaty viscose. It's a little bit lighter actually than the yellow viscose that I showed you a few minutes ago. This almost feels like a viscose lawn. It's very, very light, very drapey, and it would make a really beautiful dress or jumpsuit or something like that. And yeah, I couldn't resist this one, and I know at some point inspiration will hopefully strike and I will know exactly what to make with it. But I would also love your opinions as well. Let me know what you would make with this lovely fabric. Would you sew a dress? Would you sew something else? I kind of have a few floating ideas that may or may not work with this one, and I think again another set would work really nicely in this. So maybe something with like a fuller bottom, maybe like a proper pair of trousers or a full length pair of trousers, or a nice floaty skirt, something maybe like the Saguaro set by Friday Pattern Company, which I've never tried, but I've seen loads of lovely versions of. And the Saturday skirt by Friday Pattern Company as well has always kind of appealed to me, but I've never actually given it a go. Another option might be this lovely jumpsuit pattern, which came up on my Instagram feed the other day actually, and I thought it was really lovely. I love the open collar and the sort of shirt style of this jumpsuit. This is by Nomi Patterns, and I've never actually used one of their patterns, but they have some really lovely styles on their website, and this one I thought was really right up my street actually. I love a good shirt top, and a shirt as a jumpsuit is even better sometimes. It's a little bit different. So yeah, that's maybe a contender. But yeah, I'd love to have your opinion. What would you make with this, and what do you think I should maybe sew with it? I have 3 meters of this, so quite a lot to work with. And again, this one was £13 a metre, which I just think is so reasonable, again, for the quality. And I can't wait to sew this one up into something at some point. So those are all of my Mr. Tissue fabrics, and I hope you'll agree that they are just stunning. So if you are interested in any of those fabrics, I'll leave the link in the description below the video, along with my discount code and everything else that you need. What I would say though is that when I was just going through the links again for this video, I did notice that some of these fabrics were quite low stock, and I guess that's because they're dead stock and surplus fabrics. So if you do like any of them and you would like to purchase them, then please do be speedy. I wouldn't want you to miss out. Thank you very much to Mr. Tissue for reaching out to me and sponsoring this part of the video. Okay, so let's move on to another few fabrics that I've been acquiring recently, shall we? So firstly, I picked up this beautiful, beautiful broderie anglaise fabric, which I absolutely love. You may have seen this on their Instagram if you do follow them on Instagram. I did see them advertise it and I thought, oh, that's lovely, but I don't know whether or not to invest. And then when I was on their website looking for broderie anglaise in particular, this one came up again, and I thought, I really do love it. I think I'm just going to go for it and buy some. So can you see that it's got this lovely palm tree design on it. So it's an eyelet broderie anglaise fabric. It actually has a really lovely palm tree design on it. And yeah, I just loved it. It's really, really lightweight actually. So it would be lovely for summer holiday clothes or hot weather wear and things like that. So what I want to make with this fabric is a white skirt, a floaty white skirt. So a floaty white skirt has actually been on my to sew list for quite some time. Got fabric fluff up my nose and it's making me want to sneeze. Anyway, it's taken me quite some time to kind of narrow down exactly what I want. There are a lot of tiered gathered maxi skirts around on the high street and also in the sewing world at the moment. And whilst I love the look of them on other people, I'm not quite sure about the tiered gathered look on me. So something about sewing a skirt like that has actually kind of not been working in my head, and that's why I haven't sort of just got on with it and done it. You'll know that Tilly and the Buttons have recently brought out a tiered skirt like this, and there's also a beautiful one that I keep seeing pop up on my Instagram by Madswick Studio. This one has some pretty pleats in it as well, and I think this one is just really lovely, but as I say, just not sure about that kind of style on me. So what I think I'm going to make with this white fabric and for my floaty white skirt for summertime is just a simple single tiered or single skirt gathered elasticated waist skirt. And I don't actually think I need a pattern for this one. I think what I'm going to do is just look up a tutorial online. I kind of already know how to do it myself anyway, because I have made skirts like this in the past, but rather than just doing an elasticated waist where you sort of turn the fabric over and do the waistband that way, I would really quite like to make the skirt gathered into a waistband, if that makes sense, just to make it a little bit more high quality, I guess. I don't know if that's the word that I'm looking for, but hopefully you'll know what I mean. I'm going to have a little look around online and just see whether or not actually I have something in my stash, or I've just remembered actually that I do have a very old pattern by Tilly and the Buttons, the Dominique skirt. Has anyone else made this skirt up? I've only ever made it once, and I made the midi version, which is cut on the bias. I don't think that would work for this cotton fabric, but they do have a more straight version of that skirt. I wonder if that would work actually, but I think that is a turn under waistband if I'm remembering correctly. I might already have something in my pattern stash that I can work with anyway, so I'm going to have a little look around online and also see what I already have so that I can make my dream floaty white skirt. Obviously with this I am going to have to line it as well, and if I can work out how to do so, I'd really like to put pockets in this as well. A lot of the skirts that I've seen around do have pockets, and I just think it makes it look a little bit more casual. And even though I don't always like added waistband pockets, I think in such a big full gathered skirt it would probably work okay, because the pocket line is going to be kind of absorbed in the amount of gather and amount of fabric that there already is in the skirt. So this lovely fabric was £10.50 per half metre, so it is quite a pricey one. And I only actually brought 1.5 metres of this, and I'm hoping that that's going to be enough. It does have quite a wide selvage on it as well at one end. Where is it? So at the top of the fabric, there's quite a wide selvage. Actually, I wonder if you could turn that under and have that as a waistband. That would work quite nicely, wouldn't it? Anyway, as you can tell, I'm kind of undecided as to how I'm going to go with this skirt, but in some form or other, it's going to be a white skirt. And then while I was on the Fabric Godmother website, I also brought some lining that I could use for my skirts. And I'm also lining quite a lot of things lately because I'm finding quite a lot of fabrics quite sheer. So I picked up this, I think this is a viscose foil off the top of my head, but I will put it on the screen so that you know exactly what it is, and I'll link it below as well. This is such a beautiful lining fabric, and it was only £2.50 per half metre, and I thought that was so reasonable for the lovely quality of it. So I've got about 1.5 metres of this actually, because I just wanted to test it for this skirt and see how it worked as a lining fabric. So obviously you could use this fabric just to make a dress on its own. It's not classed as a lining fabric, it is just a fabric in its own right. It's just that voiles obviously work really nicely for lining. So this is going to be a lot more floaty and drapey than my cotton outer fabric, which I think will hopefully work quite nicely. And what I want to do with the lining is just finish it a little bit shorter than the length of the skirt, just so that you get that kind of see-through bit at the bottom of the skirt, and I think that will work well. But yeah, this is a really good, if you are looking for lining fabric, then this is a great one, and I think I might actually pop back over to the Fabric Godmother website and order myself some more of this, because I do find it quite hard to get really nice lining fabric, and this is a really good one. Okay, next I have a lovely one to share with you. I really love this one. This is a black and white gingham tumbled linen fabric. I only have 1 metre of this, and it was £12 per half metre. So again, a reasonably pricey fabric, but I think it's worth it for the quality. It's a really lovely quality of linen, so it does feel quite crisp. Like if I crunch it like this with my hand, it kind of stays, so it does have that creasy texture of linen. But because it's a tumbled linen, it's just got a little bit more sort of drape and movement to it, I guess, but it is quite thick as well. So with this, I just want to make another pair of shorts actually. Again, I've been quite inspired by what I've been seeing on the high street, and you will have seen probably as well that there's a lot of gingham around at the moment, and lots of pairs of lovely gingham shorts. I just love the look of them really, and I thought a pair of black and white gingham shorts would be really lovely for a holiday, really easy to wear. Have lots of white vest tops and white tops that I could wear with a pair of gingham shorts, and I thought they would just be really useful and actually a little bit different because I don't have anything like this already. So I think the pattern that I'm going to use for this fabric is the Tyra trousers by Plow & Patterns. I've already used this pattern many times, as you'll know, but I've never actually sewn it as a pair of shorts, and I really love the style of the Tyras because they have the pockets in the waistband, and I would like these shorts to have pockets, and I think the pockets that the Tyra trousers have will work really nicely as a pair of shorts because they're not in the side seams, they're kind of at the front, if you know what I mean. So nice simple pair of gingham shorts with pockets, elasticated waist, drawstring, nice and easy to wear on a holiday. And yeah, I do love this fabric. It does come in a few different colours, I think, so if you're not too keen on the black and white, then there are a few other colours to choose from. So that's that one. I love that one. I'm so excited about all these plans. I just can't wait to get on with them now. But I've got to wash all of these fabrics before I can even get started. And then the last fabric I have, you will have seen this one before probably, because I think I have shared it in the past in another video. So this one has been hanging around in my fabric stash for quite some time. I brought this from Fabric Godmother as well a little while ago. I did want to make clothing out of it, but I'm just not quite sure if this is going to work as clothing. It's very cottony and it's quite heavy, so I wish you could feel this in real life and kind of know what I mean. I think what I wanted to make was some kind of crocheted dress, crocheted skirt, maybe even a crocheted like top and shorts combo set, but I'm just a little bit worried about whether or not this is going to work as clothing. But having said that, I have seen quite a lot of clothing items in the shops in this sort of fabric, this similar kind of fabric. Yeah. So I'll pop in an image that I was really inspired by that came up on my Instagram the other day of this lovely crocheted set. So this one is from Apricot actually. It has this really nice straight midi skirt with 2 splits on the side of your leg and then a really simple shift top. And I thought that would work so nicely in this crocheted fabric, but as I say, I'm just really worried about whether or not this is going to be too heavy. But in terms of the pattern and the style of this, it would probably be the perfect fabric. Of course, I'd need to line it as well, which would make it even thicker. I really would like to make a set similar to this, but I'm wondering if I've just chosen the wrong fabric in this and whether or not I just need to look for a different crochet lace fabric that's maybe a little bit lighter so that I can line it and wear it a little bit more easily. What I am thinking though is that if I don't make this as a garment, it would make a really, really lovely bag, and I think I have the perfect pattern for a bag for this, and that is the Jack Tar bag, which I made a good few years ago now actually. It's a really great bag pattern, it just holds so much stuff, and I think it would work really nicely actually with this. Again, obviously I'd need to line it with something for a bag, but I think that might work if I don't use it for clothing. So again, let me know what you think. Do you think this would work? Can you see from me holding it like this the kind of fabric that it is? It's a dilemma, isn't it? But let me know what you think, and let me know if you think I should actually sew up that cord set as well. if I get time. I have a lot of plans here. I need to start prioritising. But even if I don't get to sew it up, maybe it will give you some inspiration as well if you are looking for summer sewing inspiration. Okay, so that brings me to the end of all the fabrics and sewing plans that I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope it's given you some summer sewing inspiration if you are looking for some at the moment. I now have a lot of sewing to get on with before my 2 holidays in August, so I'm going to see how much I can get done. In theory, a lot of these sews should be pretty quick and easy sews. Apart from one, I have all of the patterns ready to go and already sized, and I know that most of them are quite quick and speedy sews, so really I just need to get on with them, and they shouldn't in theory take me too long, but we will see. You still need to get the time to actually do these things, don't you? So I would love to know in the comments, let me know what you think of my plans anyway, but let me know as well what you think I should sew first. I'd love to have your opinion, and I think what I might do here on YouTube is start a little sewing my summer wardrobe series, so I might just film a few sewing days and maybe share my progress with you on making all of these things. So let me know if that would be interesting, and I'd also love to know if there's any of these plans that you would love to see as a sewing video, so let me know that in the comments too. Don't forget to check out the Mr. Tissue website. Have fun shopping. There are so many beautiful fabrics on there, and I'm so pleased that I've now discovered that company because I know that I will be shopping with them a lot in the future. And don't forget to use my discount code below. You can also follow me over on Instagram for more day-to-day photos, videos and behind the scenes, and I also have a Patreon community as well, which you can pop along and join if you want to. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already as well. I do post sewing videos every Sunday morning at 8 AM and I'd love to have you as a regular viewer and subscriber. I think that's everything I need to say for today's video. Thanks so much for watching again. Take care, and I'll look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.